What world-famous women's skin moisturizer was actually the brainstorm of a lumberjack?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I like that. Okay, Bob. What's your best course of action if you're being chased by a crocodile?
And what are people dreaming about during COVID? Answers to those and other questions coming up in this episode of The Off-Ramp with Bob
And Marcia
Smith. Welcome to The Off-Ramp, a chance to slow down, steer clear of crazy, take a side road to sanity, and get some perspective on life. Well, to find that this name in cosmetics was actually started by a former lumberjack, I found it very, very funny because this cosmetic brand says it's dedicated to helping women achieve soft, smooth, sensuously gorgeous skin. And a lumberjack came up with the original product.
It's not like something in shea butter or honey, something from a tree.
Actually, I'm just asking for the brand name right now.
Oh, okay. Don't know.
The guy's name was Andrew.
Andrew Cosmetics.
No, it's not Andrew Cosmetics.
No, I'm trying to think of. Okay. Estee Lauder, only Andy.
No.
I don't know.
This was an American. He was a 24-year-old former lumberjack, a Dutch immigrant to America. His name was Andrew Jergens.
Oh, really?
You've heard of Jergens lotion?
Yes.
Well, in 1880, he formed a partnership with a Cincinnati soap maker to manufacture prestigious toilet soap. But from his years in the lumber industry, he was aware of the benefits of hand lotion. And in 1901, he formulated Jergens Classic Cherry Almond Lotion, which became known as Jergens Lotion.
Huh.
And that was the best-selling hand lotion in America starting in 1901. Still around today.
I never heard of that cherry one.
That's what they call the original formula now.
Oh.
Jergens Lotion still around. They have 42 different products in 6 categories.
Really?
And it's owned by a Japanese cosmetics company now called KO. They own Ban and a number of other brands we're familiar with.
Jergens goes way back in the family bathroom.
That's right.
Oh, okay, Bob. So, if for some reason here in Wisconsin you're being pursued by a crocodile,
there's a problem.
You got a real problem. The thing to do is what?
Well, is it like a bear? You got to get bigger. You kind of get bigger and kind of threaten them?
Yeah, no.
Do you just run like hell? That's what I would do.
That's part of it.
Oh, okay.
But you have to run in a particular way.
Okay, you run like a 3-legged race. Is that?
You run in a zigzag pattern.
Oh.
Crocs, though very fast on land, and they can catch up with you, they have virtually no ability to make a sudden change in direction. If you're going zigzag, it confuses the heck out of them.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, and I would think they're very big. It's like a battleship. Hard to turn a battleship. That's the old expression, you know?
I thought perhaps it was something to do with their spacing of their eyes, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it's how long they are and how difficult that is.
Huh. Yeah, anyway, so just run like hell and in a zigzag.
Okay, I've got a Marcia question now.
Okay, I like those.
You are one person, Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
One person. But how many living organisms are living on you?
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's millions and millions.
That's right.
And billions.
That's right.
And billions.
This is a good way to describe it. There are more living organisms on your skin than there are human beings on the entire earth.
Yeah.
The average adult's skin has a surface area of 16 to 22 square feet. Yeah. And scientists estimate that each square inch houses 20 million microorganisms. That's 20 million things living on you, not inside you.
Per inch.
Yeah, per square inch.
That's crazy. And that follows the Jergens question for a reason?
Well, skin. I'm into skin right now. I got more skin questions.
Do you really?
No, I don't.
That's funny. Okay, let's go on to sex.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Guys, they're so simple. A University of Iowa survey suggests that the determination of a baby's sex is often related to what at the time of conception?
Temperature?
No.
No. What's it related to at the time of conception? I don't know. What?
I found this very fascinating.
Okay.
Stress. The report indicates that a child tends to be the same sex as the parent who was under less stress at the time of conception.
So we took turns. We had
You
a
were
girl
stressed
and
one
a boy.
time,
Yeah.
and I was stressed one time.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Yeah,
So if a family is a family of girls,
yeah.
that means the guy is more stressed than the wife.
Apparently, yeah. It doesn't mean that that's it every time, but there seems to be a correlation between stress and the
Very interesting.
sex.
And what's going to give you more stress than
Is-
a family of girls? That's
Pardon me?
what I meant was.
Pardon me?
It would seem to be self-defeating.
They're fun. It's
Okay.
just a fun place. House full of girls in puberty. Okay.
Okay. All right. I've got a question for you. This is what is the world's oldest surviving recipe? How old is it, and what is it for?
So it's an actual recipe.
It's
not
an actual
like,
recipe
not
somebody
like,
found.
bread or something.
No, it's a recipe.
Was it for bread?
It was found in stone. It was a recipe that was found.
I go back. Was it bread?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then it was found in stone. A recipe was carved in stone.
Carved in stone.
Was it for beer or something?
That's exactly right.
Are you kidding?
Yes. It's a formula for making beer. It was discovered outside Baghdad in 1860 on a 3,800-year-old Sumerian clay tablet. Now, they found 2 other tablets. What do you think was on them?
Wine and...
The 2 other tablets are believed to contain words to drinking songs.
Oh,
So there we go.
That's very funny.
The oldest recipe is for
for
beer,
beer.
and next to it, some stones with some drinking songs.
And right after the pyramids, they built brew pubs.
Is that right?
Yeah, you didn't know that,
Is that
did
what they
you?
found there? I didn't know
It's
that.
a little
I knew
known
they found
fact.
a little village there
Yeah.
underneath the pyramids, but
Bob, you probably didn't know that the first world tournament of horseshoe pitching took place in 1909 in Bronson, Kansas. Would you like to guess the men's record for consecutive ringers during the horseshoe contest?
and a ringer is an actual horseshoe that
Is making
goes around the
yes,
pole there.
Yes,
The number of consecutive ringers?
yes. It was made in the 1950s, the all-time record, and no one's beat it yet.
50 ringers.
It's 72.
Wow.
A gentleman by the name of Ted Allen did it in the early 1950s, and it's still an unbroken record. The woman's record is 42, and that was set by Ruth Hagen in 74.
That's still
1974.
Those are hard records. I mean, when you think
Yeah.
of throwing that piece of metal
How
and
can
making
you
it,
possibly? Yeah, obviously you get into a zone,
Yeah.
right? And you just don't move your arm. If anybody comes up and hands you a beer or something, you're going to get
away
off.
from me.
don't.
yeah, beer. That's probably not that. That'll
No.
just ruin your
Yes.
judgment.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question for you here on. Remember, we did some questions on mountains last time. So I've got a couple mountain questions left over that we didn't get to. Because you said only do one. And I said, why? And you said, because I'm not good at geography.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
I don't recall that.
Off mic. So we're back on on mic. And remember, we talked about if you took a list of the 109 tallest mountains in the world, I asked you what continent they would be on. And the answer was Asia.
Yeah.
109 tallest mountains are all in Asia.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, what's the tallest mountain outside of Asia?
Kilimanjaro.
That's in Africa. That's a good question or a good answer, but it's not the tallest mountain outside of Asia.
Is it in America?
It's in the Americas.
Yeah. So it's that one over there on the West Coast, right?
Like what?
Like Pikes Peak, or wait, Denali in Alaska.
That's a great guess, and it's wrong. This goes to show how North American centric we and the rest of the world
it's
are.
South America.
It's in South America, yeah. Aconcagua. It's the tallest mountain in South America. In fact, in all of the Americas.
Huh.
And it's in the Andes in western Argentina. It's 22,834 feet tall. Now, that is tall. That's more than 4 miles high. Yet it's only the 189th highest in the world. But like you said, the tallest mountain in North America is Denali, which was formerly known as Mount McKinley, and that's 20,320 feet. One more mountain. No. Okay, one more mountain question.
So fascinating, Bob. So fascinating.
This is my last mountain question for the day.
Thank you.
What is the highest capital city in the world? It's on a mountain.
Is it city in Tibet?
Nope.
No.
It's
Tibet
La
a city?
Paz, Bolivia. That's a city of 1.8 million people. It's at 11,975 feet above sea level, which makes it the highest capital in the world.
All right, let's put this in the category of it's always something. In 1943, the United States Safety Council reported that an American soldier became trapped in his sleeping bag. Want to venture a guess on how that happened?
This is a National Safety Council story?
Yeah. I read those every night before I go to bed.
A soldier was trapped in his
sleeping bag. Why?
Well, the zipper didn't work, obviously.
No. This is bigger than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is...
trapped in his sleeping bag. Was this during warfare?
It was 1943.
Okay.
It doesn't say where he was. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, tell us the answer, Marcia.
The zipper was struck by lightning and welded shut.
Oh, Lord.
The whole thing welded shut, and they couldn't get him out. So they had I don't know, I imagine they had to cut, everything else.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
That's amazing.
Can you imagine?
And it welded shut, so it's solid metal.
Yeah, and he survived.
Yeah.
And it just melted his zipper.
He's lucky.
Oh, God.
This brings up something. I was doing some research today, and I found there's a distinction between a zipper and the fly. People say your fly is open.
Yeah. Oh, is it the flap is the fly?
Yeah, the flap that goes over a zipper is called the fly. That's technically the fly. It's not the zipper.
Oh.
So your fly is open.
We interchange them, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, crazy people that we are.
Okay, Marcia, where did the term cop for policeman come from?
C-O-P.
Mm-hmm.
Cop.
There are two
Copper.
theories. I'll give you points for either one. Two theories.
Okay.
Cop.
I'll say comes from copper.
That's one theory. Very good.
And
because the copper buttons were the bobbies in England. Some people thought that's where it came from.
Exactly what I was going to say, copper buttons.
Okay, but there's another theory.
Okay.
Now, if you watch any of those British TV dramas on television, like you and I do, you always hear them use their abbreviations when they identify themselves. I'm DCI Smith, which is Detective Constable Inspector.
Yeah.
Well, many people believe the term cop comes from the British police acronym for Constable on Patrol.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that might be the answer. Don't know for sure.
Both of them are good, and they're both English because that was where the first police station was, in Scotland Yard.
Yes.
Okay, babe. Why do we drink a toast on special occasions?
Why do we drink a toast on special occasions? Was it a ceremony or was it like a safety measure?
Maybe. In the 6th century, Greeks discovered that poison wine was an excellent way to kill off their enemies. Here, have a drink,
Oh, okay.
So it became necessary at fun social events to reassure your guests you weren't killing them. So the host would have to always take the first drink. So that became a custom, but the Romans added a piece of burnt toast, or tostus it was called.
Oh, really?
To the custom because it would absorb acid, making the wine more pleasant to drink. Now, I don't know what they mean by acid. Do they mean acid like in poison or acid in the
wine or
the
something?
Wine?
But that's where the term toast comes from.
Flattering words were spoken during the toasting ceremony to reassure guests of their safety.
But when they said we're drinking a toast, they really did have toast in the drink.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, that was weird, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to The Off-Ramp with Bob
and Marcia
Smith. Okay, we are coming back, Marcia, and I've got one for you I think you'll like, okay?
Okie doke.
Now, you can learn a lot from your neighborhood grocer. And according to his neighborhood grocer, what were Osama bin Laden's favorite American products? We're talking about the grocer that was in Pakistan down the street from his hideout.
Wow, this is superb trivia.
This probably came from a CIA report somewhere.
And it was American food. A couple things he liked. I'm sure just a couple, but I'll just say Doritos and hot dogs.
Pepsi and Coke were his two favorite food-oriented things that were American. Now, the big question, what were his favorite TV shows from America.
Oh, man.
One of these will blow your mind.
The Golden Girls?
That would blow your mind. No, not the Golden Girls.
Okay, let me guess. Oh, I don't know. NCIS.
Miami Vice.
Okay, so NCIS isn't too far
No,
off.
Miami Vice, which...
And they dressed real pretty back then.
And MacGyver.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And The Wonder Years. Anyway, those 3 American TV shows were his favorites, according to his grocer. They must have interviewed him. Miami Vice makes sense because it was violent and exciting. MacGyver makes sense, too. He was always in a jam figuring out how to free himself out of things. And Osama was in a jam. But The Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Osama bin
Family
Laden
life in
liked to
America.
watch the great little show about growing up as an American kid in the 60s.
Yeah, it was so
That's
cute.
a head-scratcher.
Well, yeah, considering he wanted to kill us all. So it is. And that was a charming show.
So again, the answer is Pepsi, Coke, Miami Vice, MacGyver, and The Wonder Years. Those are the favorite American products of Osama bin Laden.
Well, that's true trivia, and I like it.
Okay.
All right, this fascinated me because here in our little town every fall, there's a fall harvest festival, which usually includes a pumpkin regatta race down the local creek.
A pumpkin regatta? Is that right?
They carve out these monster pumpkins,
Okay,
get inside, and paddle down the creek. These are pumpkin races.
Okay.
They're seriously big pumpkins.
And we're talking here in Cedarburg, Wisconsin, since you've mentioned that.
So people hollow them out and they float in them down the water. So here's the question. How big is the world's biggest pumpkin to date?
Are we talking weight?
Yeah.
The biggest pumpkin in the world weighs 857.5 pounds.
That's good. In 2016, the record was set in Belgium to a fellow who grew a gourd that weighed 2,624 pounds.
Holy cow, 2,624 pounds? That's a big pumpkin.
The secret to big pumpkins? On a daily basis, you just water, fertilizer, and prune. And I also read if you got to put them up sometimes on like a little wood platform so they don't rot underneath, you know?
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, keep that in mind if we want to do something fun come spring.
Oddly enough, I do have a question about a pumpkin, too.
Of course you do.
Okay, so pumpkins, they've been growing in America for over 5,000 years. They're indigenous to the Western Hemisphere. They were completely unknown before the time of Columbus. Now, the question is, how did the pumpkin get its name? What does it really mean?
Is it an Indian name?
No, it's French, but it was translated into English by mistake.
I don't know.
Okay, in 1584, the French explorer Jacques Cartier reported from the St. Lawrence region that he had found gros melons, G-R-O-S melons. Big melons, right? It was translated into English not as big melons, but pompions. Pompions, or pumpkins, for some reason. So it was a mistranslation, but it means gross melons is the idea. Big melons.
Big melon.
And they are a very good source of nutrition.
There's so many jokes there. I'm not going to touch any of them.
Big melons.
Okay.
They're not vegetables. Did you know that? Pumpkins are not vegetables. They are berries. Technically, a pumpkin is a berry.
So you're saying this dude had a 2,600-pound berry,
That's a big berry.
Okay.
Never thought of it that way, did you?
No.
Tomatoes are technically berries as well.
All right. What state, Bob, in the United States has the most named lakes larger than 10 acres?
Oh, I think that's Minnesota or Wisconsin. One of the two. I'll say Minnesota. Land of 1,000 lakes or something like that? Or 10,000 lakes?
10,000.
10,000 lakes.
That's right. But no, they're not the biggest.
Oh, sorry.
Wisconsin. 11,981 lakes that are larger than 10 acres.
And are named.
Wisconsin beat out Minnesota by 139 lakes.
So there.
So we should have more than Dairyland on our license plates. It should say, we got more than you,
We should tell our friends, the Freunds, that when we see them next. Okay, this is another one of those. Where did it come from? What was it originally? This is an old expression. Probably you remember hearing old folks saying this or watching a movie where somebody said this. What in tarnation?
What is a tarnation?
What in tarnation? Where
I got
did that
some
come
on
from?
my foot here.
Yeah, it's
but
tarnation. Yeah, that's where you lived, wasn't it? Tarnation? Okay, where do you think that came from? What did it mean?
The expression?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really have anything to do with tar and a nation.
No,
did
it didn't.
Okay.
No. You know, we humans always seem to have the need to compress or abbreviate things, right?
Uh-huh.
To save time, I guess. You know, instead of saying do not, we say don't. Instead of saying will not, we say won't. Well, what in tarnation derives from an old expression, what in eternal damnation.
What?
They flipped it around to say, what in tarnation?
Really?
Yeah.
The original phrase?
The original phrase was, what in eternal damnation? And then it got changed
are
to,
you talking?
what in tarnation?
Oh.
Apparently, even in the days of eternal damnation, people didn't have enough time to use full expressions. Let's just abbreviate it. So.
Okay. Well, here, let me do a couple quickies.
Okay.
In 1978, Illinois sent out thousands of notices to senior citizens in nursing homes, informing them that their Medicare benefits would no longer pay for what?
Their care? Their medicine?
No. Abortions.
Oh, this is what's sent to senior citizens?
This is Illinois in all its wisdom. Okay, moving on. Remember the beaver teeth that I dazzled you with last week?
Oh,
with the
yes.
question?
The beaver teeth.
Yes.
They grow an inch a month.
Yes, and are whittled down
An inch a month, right.
Okay, so here's the question. How long are the longest fangs of any snake?
Probably about 3 inches.
That is long. No, it's not quite that long. The much-loved gaboon viper, which
Loved?
I never heard of it,
Oh,
has fangs that average 2 inches. And as a bonus, it can inject enough lethal venom in one shot to kill 30 grown men.
oh my goodness.
It's, in fact, Philadelphia Zoo had one of these charmers, and it actually accidentally bit itself to death. How did they knew it was accidentally? I say it committed suicide because it was in a zoo.
Well, it could be. It could be.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, this is interesting. The question is, what are people dreaming during COVID? Do you got any ideas?
Well, I heard you say that before. Let me see. They're not dreaming about
It's not good.
being trapped somewhere.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It makes sense when you think about it.
What is it?
They're applying big data to dream research. They actually were able to gather more than 9,000 dream transcripts from 4,000 people in 13 countries. So this is happening everywhere.
Wow.
Here's what they found. Now think about this. COVID-19 is a virus.
Yeah.
How do you generally describe a virus? I've got some kind of bug, usually people say.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, guess what? Those 19,000 pandemic-related dreams were filled with armies of cockroaches,
Oh, man.
masses of wiggling worms,
Really?
swarms of bees and other insects, including a grasshopper with vampire fangs. You talk about fangs.
Wow.
One particularly vivid dream came from a woman who dreamed she saw a huge tarantula crawling into her apartment through the mail slot in the door. So bugs, swarms of insects, tarantulas, those are a lot of the dreams going on right now.
In COVID time.
I'm going to ask you now some more questions, just regular dreams, okay? So they went back and they gathered all these transcripts of people's dreams that go back more than a century, 38,000 dream stories, put them in computers, and then they did keyword analysis. What do you think they found in general about the dreams of men, women, teenagers, veterans, and the blind? Everyday dreams.
That people worry about falling or dying or
What about women?
having kids.
Women had more friendly, upbeat dreams.
Okay.
Men's dreams were more aggressive and negative. Teenagers dreamed about sex. That's a surprise. War veterans had violent dreams, and blind people dream more frequently of imaginary characters.
Interesting. So, Bob, why don't jetliners fly at lower altitudes?
Why don't they fly at lower altitudes?
Uh-huh.
I always assumed it was because they're big. Smaller planes fly at lower altitudes. Birds fly at lower altitudes. So they're trying to get above them because we know that a bird in a jet engine can be disastrous.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No.
Okay.
They're saving gas money.
What?
The air is thinner at higher altitudes and offers less resistance to the plane. Hence, a plane uses less fuel when cruising at 30,000 feet versus 20,000 feet.
I'll be darned. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't think of it. Way up there in rarefied air, you're not burning as much gas.
Speaking of that, I have a question for you.
Of course you do.
I was thinking about this question the other day. What are the two disasters, violent events, only possible because of airplanes that Wilbur Wright had to witness in his lifetime. You know, he and his brother invented the airplane. Two of the biggest events in his lifetime were tragedies.
Atom bomb?
Atom bomb was one.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
For the United States? Oh.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh, of course.
So can you imagine what must have been going through Wilbur Wright's mind? He died in 48. So he actually saw his invention take off in airlines and airplanes, and then two huge disasters. Pearl Harbor, that attack was only possible because of airplanes.
Yeah.
First time in history.
Wow.
And the dropping of the atomic bomb.
That would be
You could see your invention going wrong.
Yeah.
You know, you could see that.
Yeah.
He died 3 years after the atomic bomb was dropped, so he was aware of it.
Yeah. So, Bob, why do some people trim their cat's whiskers?
For aesthetic purposes? I don't know.
The answer is because they're stupid.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry I didn't have that answer.
Oh, no, whiskers act as feelers on cats, and cats depend on them to provide judgment of width when they go through anything.
Okay.
So whiskers almost always extend laterally beyond the body.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they are. You know how they always stick out there?
Yeah, just a little beyond the face.
So they're their feelers if they can get their heads through something or whatever. So people that cut their cat's whiskers are doing them a big disservice.
Yes, I guess so. You never did that to your cat, did you?
No.
Okay. I remember we had those pun book titles last time. I said I had some more.
Yes, that was cute.
They're kind of fun.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So there is a new book out called The Pun Also Rises. How the humble pun revolutionized language, changed history, and made wordplay more than some antics. Get it? Semantics? Semantics, eh? Some antics.
Yeah.
By John Pollock. Yeah, the writer is a former word pun champion.
All right, one more.
What do you think this one's about? Moby Duck. The true history of 28,800 bath toys lost at sea.
Really?
Yes, it's about beachcombers, oceanographers, environmentalists, and fools, including the author who went in search of them. That's the whole title. Moby Duck by Donovan Holmes. So those are two pun book titles out there right now.
Okay, I'm going to close with a couple of quotes from this month's Reader's Digest.
Of course.
Of course. Sarah Michelle Gellar, you know who she is?
Yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
She's obviously home with COVID because here's her quote. Wearing daytime pajamas and then changing into nighttime pajamas sets a good example for your children. I thought that was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
And then here's one by Senator John Neely Kennedy. The brain is an amazing organ. It starts working in a mother's womb and doesn't stop working till you get elected to Congress.
There you go.
And he was a Democrat and a Republican, so he can say this.
From both sides of the aisle. All right. That's it for this edition of The Off-Ramp. I'm Bob Smith.
I'm Marcia Smith.
Hope you join us again next time when we show up with more fun trivia. The Off-Ramp is produced in association with CPL Radio and the Cedarbrook Public Library, Cedarburg, Wisconsin.